Nolan, good to see you. Today we are talking through the 6 questions you should ask an advisor before you retire. Now, of course, you do not need an advisor to retire, but we do recommend that you at least make an appointment with one before you decide to hang up your hat. And the first question to ask is pretty straightforward. Am I financially ready to retire?
Yeah, and the operative word there being financially, I think.
Mm,
A lot of people, when they look at their finances, that's one of the key pieces of the equation, but you need to also be emotionally and mentally ready as well.
yeah.
Financially is the first one and probably most important one to look at. You need to be able to make sure you can actually afford retirement. So, looking at things financially, assessing all the different streams of income and savings that you have, and we'll kind of go piece by piece today, but that's first stop.
Mhm.
Financially, am I ready to retire? It's important to meet with somebody and ask the appropriate questions.
Right. And as you mentioned, all of these questions are interrelated. This brings us to the next one. What income sources will I rely on in retirement and how sustainable are they?
Yeah, I think the old retirement stool used to be propped up by three legs. It was personal savings and social security and pension income.
Mm,
And that was a very stable stool to sit on throughout a 20 or 30-year retirement. Most retirees were saving money in situations like that. Well, pensions have large in part gone away. Not very many people are eligible, or if you are, maybe the benefit isn't as rich as it used to be. Social security is still around, but maybe there's some questions about for how long. So a lot of people are going to be relying on their personal savings, and if that's your main income source, you need to make sure that that's as sustainable as possible, so not
mhm,
overly risky, appropriately invested, things like that.
mhm. Sustainable and tax efficient, which brings us to the next question. How can I minimize taxes on my retirement income?
This is something that you can do while you're working, you can do after you're done working, you can do at any time while you are in any type of environment where you have money. Basically, what you're trying to do is figure out at what point do I need to take money out of my accounts, and when I take money out, how is that money going to be taxed? Tax efficiency is making sure that you have appropriate balances between all three of these buckets. You have tax deferred money like 401ks, taxable money like your bank accounts and brokerage accounts, and tax free money, which is Roth IRAs.
Mhm.
So I'm not a proponent of having all your money in any one individual one of those triangles, but to have a mix is a very good idea. So minimizing taxes just means that you need to have the flexibility of withdrawals, and that's what we mean.
Mhm. Next, what, if any, adjustment should I make to my investment portfolio?
As you get a little closer to retirement, as you get a little bit closer to needing your portfolio for income, that's usually when you start to de-risk your portfolio a little bit. While you're working, while you're earning and contributing to your accounts, it's okay to wait out storms and wait out recessions and not panic sell and not do all those things. But when you're in retirement, that's when you really want to start de-risking your portfolio, introducing some safety net, whether it be cash or bonds or insurance, whatever that might be.
Mhm. Next question. Do I have enough saved to account for inflation and unexpected expenses? They do always seem to crop up.
Inflation and taxes are the two big ones that most people encounter. So these are kind of silent retirement killers. These are things that you need in addition to your income stream to have a healthy, long retirement. So if you are expecting to take 4% off of your portfolio as a rate of withdrawal, you need to adjust for inflation, you need to adjust for taxes, and those things go up each year. So it won't be 4% of your total balance over the whole 20 or 30 years you're taking money out, and it certainly won't be the same dollar amount 20 years from now that it is today.
Yeah.
So your portfolio needs to adjust for those things, and those are certainly some unexpected expenses.
Mhm. And then last, do I have a plan for long-term care? And this is increasingly important because if we take a look at the median costs of long-term care, this is projected out to 2043. If you look at the right-hand column, it's going to cost you anywhere from $124,000 a year up to 211. That can wipe out your savings.
I know, and in a very quick manner. Imagine
Right.
spending between $10,000 and $20,000 a month on long-term care for a
Yeah.
retiree. So take a look at your own finances and say, can my portfolio sustain that if that happens 10 or 20 years from now? And do I have enough money to pay for that and still some left over for the other spouse? or if I'm kind of uncertain if I have enough money for that, it's good to look at your plan or your coverages for those things. So you can either get long-term care insurance or make sure that your assets can cover those things, or rely on government subsidies like Medicaid to pay for some of those coverages if that's in the plan. But you need to at least be aware for how those things are going to be funded. To
Mhm.
counter long-term care and then all of a sudden have to have an output of $100,000 or $150,000 per year unexpected, like you said, can be pretty devastating, or wreck a retirement portfolio. So
Right.
plan for it, make sure that there's a plan based around those things.
Mhm. And having this conversation with you, Nolan, underscores the fact that you specialize in retirement planning. So if your advisor isn't talking through these questions for you, you might need a new advisor. So if somebody wants to have this conversation with you, how can they reach you?
So they can call our office, 616-301-2581, or go to our website, which is cornerstone-rp.com. And if you have a question about any of these things, or long-term care or insurance or your investments or anything, contact us box at the bottom of that page and we can help you.
Thank you, Nolan.
Thanks, Erin.